International Series is brought to you by Suzuki. Welcome to episode 2 of our continuing coverage of the Suzuki International Series finale here at the Cemetery Circuit. On today's show, action from the very impressive sidecars. We've got some Formula 2 action for you. Of course, we've got another race in the Formula 1 Superbikes. And of course, the feature event, the Robert Holden Memorial. Plus, we'll have some Jigsaw action and some beers. So settle in for a great afternoon of motorcycling action here on CRC Motorsport. So we zoom in on number 11, that is Seth Devereaux from Invercargill, as we get set to turn them loose for race number 2 for the F2, or the 600 Sports Productions as they're known in the New Zealand Superbike Road Racing Championships. And it's the find of the series, in my humble opinion. That's bike number 80, and that's Zach Fuller that's gone out into an early lead. Second place looks to be Toby Summers on the 22. That's the Carl Cox Motorsport bike. And just in behind him, the series points leader after a good performance in the first race, and that would be Rogan Chandler. On board here with the Rees Motorcycles, Honda New Zealand CBR 600 of Zach Fuller. In behind him it is 22, and that is Toby Summers. Toby having a bit of an up and down season in the Suzuki International Series. Here's that unusual camera position as we track the progress of young Zach Fuller. What a find this young man has been. Past Jigsaw Cup champion and then third in the Pro Twins last year. Made the step up to the 600s with Team Rees, Team Roadkill as they're known, and leading this very, very packed field here in the F2s. There is Summers. Carl Cox Motorsport Kawasaki. Right in behind him, it's the Yamaha of Rogan Chandler. He's part of the Blue Crew. And then we go back to another surprise package, and that's number 17. That's Dale Finch from Christchurch. And he is riding the 675 Triumph. And he's another one that's stunned a few people. If he hadn't had a crash at the first round in Taupo, he would have been running right up in the points. And down the inside of Toby Summers he goes, and they both pick the pocket of Rogan Chandler. So the Triumph on the move, and that is Dale Finch, comes from a speedway background. The 17, 22, as we said, Toby Summers, and then it's the 15. That's Rogan Chandler. You're looking out the back of Toby Summers' machine and right into the face of Rogan Chandler. Had an unfortunate crash at Manfield's round 2, and that cost them the series points lead. The series points leader coming here to Whanganui is Avalon Biddle, the First Lady of New Zealand Motorcycling. She's back a ways in the pack at the moment. They head down the Sharp-As long haul straight, Taupo Quay, into the Suzuki crossing. Over the railway line they come now. 17, Dale Finch. 22, Toby Summers. And 15, this is Rogan Chandler. And joining the party too, bike number 6, and that's David Hall, last year on a 600. David doing double duty this weekend at Whanganui because he'll be in the Superbike class as well. He's changed allegiances. Currently sitting back there. Remember, this battle on your screen is 2nd, 3rd, 4th and 5th. And about to join the party once again will be the number 11 of Seth Devereaux. Back on board here with Toby Summers, looking out the back of his Carl Cox Motorsport machine. There is the 17, that's Finch. Down the inside of Summers comes the 15 of Rogan Chandler. Remember, the race leader continues to be Zach Fuller out of Taupri, ex-motocross racer, ex-Jigsaw Cup champion, and as I said, third in the Pro Twins in the NZSBK last year. He's made the move up to the 600s, and he's disappeared from the rest of the field in this one. On board as they go under the Emmets pedestrian bridge once more and head towards the Robert Holden turn, the trade zone Robert Holden turn. On board now with the Helicraft Racing MV Augusta of Seth Devereaux. So Seth coming back to his very best after a bit of an injury for shortened season last year. So back to the race leader as he heads down the TSS Red Baron Straight and into the Gilmore Homes turn number 1. As I said, he's left them all to it. Look at the gap he's got over number 17, Dale Finch. Although Dale Finch looks like he might be closing him down just a little bit as we take the pictures here as they come down the WhanganUiNZ.com straight. This is Toby Summers, just about to be passed by his nemesis from the last couple of seasons in the 600 racing, and that is the number 6, and that is David Hall from Tawamudu. Seth Devereaux also starting to mount an attack as they work their way along Heads Roads, the versatile building straight into the trade zone Robert Holden turn they go. This is Hall, right in behind him Summers, then we go back to the 11 of Devereaux. So just coming out of the trade zone corner, heading towards the Hookers Curves is the 15 of Rogan Chandler, currently sitting in 3rd place. In behind him it's David Hall. Back on board here with Seth Devereaux as he tries to make a move down the TSS Red Baron front straight into the Gilmore Holmes turn 1. Gets a little bit closer to Toby Summers. There you get a graphic example of it as they head down the short chute. And the 11 now all over the back of the Kawasaki of Toby Summers. One half, if you like, of Mad Love Media. Toby's wife Kirsten taking some amazing photos of all the racing around the country. And Toby involved in most of it. Devereaux getting a little bit closer as they go under the Emmets Bridge, head down the Versatile Builder straight into the Trade Zone Robert Holden turn once again. This beautiful Helicraft MV Augusta. Joe's Garage came on board this season as a co-sponsor as well. Looking out the front of the MV now. And this is a part of the circuit where Toby's a little bit quicker than most of them, as he'll pick up the man in front of him, and that will be David Hall. Back on board here with Devereaux. So just 8 laps, so it's virtually a sprint around this 1.6 kilometre circuit, just over a mile in the old language. iPhone bring you the Formula 2 action as out onto the Sharp As long haul straight we come once again. Having a look at the front wheel of Toby Summers' Kawasaki. Here's the battle for the Miners, and David Hall's got right up onto the back of Rogan Chandler here as they head into Robert Holden once more. This battle for 3rd and 4th. Still, Zach Fuller out in the front from Dale Finch. Here is Zach Fuller, all on his own as he heads down the TSS Red Baron straight. White flag out, so one to go. One to go for the youngster to maybe claim his first victory in the Suzuki International Series. Been on the podium at Taupo in round 1 and also Manfield, but I don't think he's won one yet. This could be the day for Zach Fuller. Has joined the Tony Rees team, the Roadkill Racing team, as their apprentice, if you like. Gee whiz, he's certainly made believers of a few as he has laid this field to waste. He's the youngster from Taupri. We'll see his sister out in the Gixxer Cup a little bit later on the 150 Suzuki, but at the moment it's all about Zach Fuller as through the Trade Zone corner he goes. In complete control of this, got there from the whole shot and hasn't been headed. Bike number 80, the Honda New Zealand Tony Rees Motorcycles CBR 600 is going to take out race number 2 for the iPhone Formula 2s, and he does it easily. Second across the line should be the 17 of Dale Finch, and in 3rd place it should be Rogan Chandler.
Yeah, to finish off the Suzuki Series with a win going into Nationals is pretty cool, eh? First season on the 600 and yeah, already winning races, so can't be more happy.
So officially it is Zach Fuller gets his first win in the Suzuki International Series from Dale Finch from the South Island, Rogan Chandler from Wellington, and then Te Awamutu's David Hall. In 5th place, Toby Summers. Plenty of action still to come here at the Cemetery Circuit. We'll see you after the break. Welcome back to the Cemetery Circuit. It's the 3rd and final round of the Suzuki Series. Next up, it is the Carl Cox Motorsports Sidecars. Plenty of people enjoying the sunshine here at Whanganui. This is the 70th edition of this amazing race. And boy, we've seen some action, certainly in the sidecars as we zoom in on the number 12 first heat winner, and that is Adam Unsworth and Bryce Rose. Away we go. So second heat of the sidecars brought to you by Carl Cox. Of course, because of the COVID-19, no Carl Cox here at Whanganui today, but he did send all his team members a communique saying, 1, he wished them all the very best of luck, and 2, he would love to have been in the sunshine at Whanganui. Out of the second turn and out onto the Sharp As long haul straight goes the 73 of Barry Smith and Stu Dorr. Second place looked to be the number 12, the first heat winners, and that's Adam Unsworth and Bryce Rose. Already they've started to clear away a little bit from the best of the 600 runners, and that would be Mark Halls and Michelle McLean. These two resume competition, or resume the battle that they had in the first heat, and boy, what a battle it was. And in the end, the bike we're riding with here, or the machine we're riding with here, the Aprilia Boss engineering number 12 of Adam Unsworth and Bryce Rose came out on top, but not without a little bit of bashing and crashing as they head down the TSS Red Baron straight once more. It is the 600 champions from last season in the Suzuki Series, and that is Barry Smith. And Barry Smith runs a little bit wide, and that's allowed Adam Unsworth and Bryce Rose to get up the inside of them as they go down the visit WhanganuiNZ.com straight and out onto the Taupo Quay once again. You're back on board here, Barry Smith and Stu Dorr. Barry would be one of the fittest guys guys racing here this weekend. There's a lot of trail running, a lot of adventure running and things. Keeps himself in tip-top shape. And I guess you have to when you're wheeling these monsters around the track. This 1.6 kilometre circuit that makes up the cemetery circuit. Number 12, Adam Unsworth, a Whanganui boy, but now living in Auckland. Out in the front, Barry Smith sits in second place. The Carl Cox Motorsport LCR, the Honda-powered machine. Up ahead of them is the Aprilia of Unsworth and Rose. Remember, you know the story if you watched part one of our coverage. Adam used to partner with Stu Dorr on the Windle, but now, of course, they've split camps. On board here with Spike Taylor and Kerry Pitt, past New Zealand champions, just going past Mark Halls as they go down the TSS Red Baron Straight and into the Gilmore Holmes turn, which is essentially turn one here at Whanganui. Spike always had a sponsorship with Mobility Wairarapa, and this year picked up some Penrite money as well. This is Kelly Pitt doing the swinging as they work their way through the Suzuki crossing over the railway line and up toward the Emmets pedestrian bridge. 17, Spike Taylor sitting in third place. Mark Halls and Michelle McLean back in fourth, and these four really have cleared away. Back in fifth place it would be Daryl Williams and Brian Flynn, I would think. They're a long way behind this combination. Spike Taylor, Kelly Pitt, Mark Halls and Michelle McLean. Michelle is a paramedic. She's one of those brave souls that jumps out of hovering helicopters to rescue people, and she's a tiny little thing, so she'll be working overtime to, one, keep Mark under control and keep their 600 rig under control as well. Back on board here with Spike Taylor and Kelly Pitt, currently sitting in third. It's a bit of a distant third at the moment, but it's good points for the Suzuki Series. Just how fit and agile you have to be a swinger. And that's what we call the pilot, or the navigator I should say, on the sidecars. Under the Emmets Bridge they go down the versatile building straight, heading to the Robert Holden corner. Kelly just hugging the right-hand side of the machine as Spike banks it into the trade zone corner once again and into the hooker curves. Just got a glimpse of the man in second place, and at the moment that would be Barry Smith and Stu Dorr up ahead of them on yet another LCR. This is an LCR out of Switzerland. Here is the race leader, number 12, Adam Unsworth and Bryce Rose. They're on the Boss Engineering F1 Aprilia powered machine. And if anything, I think Barry Smith's getting a little bit closer. Once again, we're on board here, going down the Sharp-As Long Haul Straight through the Suzuki crossing over what was once the very notorious railway line, now tame by comparison to what it was in the 80s. But still a bit of a test for man and machine, certainly on these things. Adam Unsworth and Bryce Rose, your race leaders. There is the 73 just in behind them. That's Barry Smith and Stu Dorr. And they're getting a little bit closer now as they head through the trade zone corner once again and the hooker transport curves to complete yet another lap. It happens pretty quickly here, under the minute now for the sidecars. Best time about the 54-second mark. Bruce Roberts and Jim Bilby, the oldest combination out there, also on the big Suzuki. So these two compete with distinction at the Mike Perro Southern Classic at Levels Raceway in Timaru a month or two ago now. And Jim's son, Charlie, also a sidecar exponent, normally in the classic cars. Here is Bruce Roberts and Jim Bilby. You're watching in on Jim Bilby as he gets to move over to the left-hand side of the machine as they come over the Bridgestone Bridge. These guys currently sitting just inside the top 10 in 7th place, heading down towards the Gilmore Holmes first turn. Back on board here with Barry Smith sitting in second. Now, are my eyes deceiving me, or are they getting a bit closer? They're getting a whole lot closer as we go back to the onboard, looking out the back of the Aprilia, and you can see how close it is now. Barry Smith doesn't want to come second again. He'd love to win this one and square the ledger here as they go through turn one here at Whanganui. Adam Unsworth and Bryce Rose in the front. Barry Smith, Stu Dorr in second place. Just about clipping the curb with the front wheel as they head down the Sharp-As Long Haul Straight once again, and there's nothing in this. And you would say, looking at it, these machines pretty near evenly matched. Nobody gives or asks any quarter, and for the moment it's Adam Unsworth calling the shots. Past the head cemetery they go into the versatile building straight, now onto the brakes and down through the gearbox for the Robert Holden Memorial. Barry Smith just gets a little bit closer again. Maybe he's going to the brakes just a fraction later than what we're seeing from Adam. keep an eye on this battle as they head down towards the Hooker Transport curves and back to the Bridgestone overbridge once more. First heat winner, and it was a ding-dong battle between these two. White flag about to come out this time, so 1 to go. If Barry Smith's going to do anything, he's got to do it this lap, or he's going to be content to be second again. Into the Gilmore Homes, turn 1 goes to number 12, the Boss Engineering. Wheel Magician, Aprilia sidecar. In second place, Carl Cox Motorsport, LCR, Honda-powered LCR of Barry Smith, the current F2 champion in the Suzuki Series, past New Zealand champion along with Tracy Bryan. Tracy's in this field with Joe Mickelson on the 600cc machine. Haven't seen too much of them in this one. It's all about the battle at the front of the field. Smith looking to gather the forces for a bit of a challenge here. Round through Robert Holden they go for the last time. Looking a lot more tidy than the previous lap as Adam Unsworth, and he squeaks out a bit of an advantage, but then probably leaves the braking a little bit late and a wee bit untidy coming through the trade zone corner. Not enough to open the door though for Barry Smith as they head over the Bridgestone Bridge once again. Barry Smith and Stu Dorr trail the race leaders, and now the race winners. Number 12 makes it 2 for 2 here at Whanganui. So congratulations to Adam Unsworth and Bryce Rose. They win it. And you can guarantee there'll be some celebrations here, as I said. Originally a Whanganui boy.
Massive thanks to the boys over in Noale and Italy, you know, and we're just stoked to put Aprilia, numero uno.
Congratulations, look forward to watching at NZSPK, and everyone here wants to know, does a sidecar do a burnout?
Well, they do, but rear tyres are very expensive.
Congratulations, Adam Unsworth, Bryce Rose.
Well, clearly Bryce Rose wants to start them young in the sidecars. His child just getting a bit of a taste of the action here at Whanganui for the Cemetery Circuit. Adam Unsworth gets the win from Barry Smith in second place. Then it was Spike Taylor and Kelly Pitt. And then behind them it was Mark Halls and Michelle McLean. They were the first of the 600s from Darryl Williams and Brian Flynn. Plenty of action still to come here at Whanganui. We're back after the break. Two top 10 finishes at round 1 and then an unfortunate crash at Manfield's round 2 probably dashed the hopes of local lad Sam Willisey title-wise, but here on his home track he was unbeatable in the QS Formula Sport Bears. This class matches up older New Zealand spec superbikes and machines from the British, European, American Racing Series. The son of promoter Alan Willisey set fastest qualifying time on his Suzuki 750 and won both bike races. Chased all the way by number 48 Dwayne Bishop on his Aprilia RSV4 and Bears veteran Mark Perry on another RSV4. Willisey, who has had racing experience in the UK and Northern Ireland, made the Cemetery Circuit his own, taking out race 1 easily. Race 2 was the same, even though in the early going it was Dwayne Bishop that held the lead. And when Willisey hit the front, it was Bishop again that was doing the chasing. What looked like a carbon copy of race 1 was shortened. The leaders had no problems getting around the Gilmore Homes turn 1, but the man in 5th place, not so much. That resulting crash meant the race was shortened. And that meant 2 for 2 for Sam Willisey here at the Cemetery Circuit. First run in 2017, the one-make Suzuki Gixxer Cup has lived up to its reputation of growing future champions. As a look at the entry list of this year's Suzuki International Series, we'll find plenty of riders that started on the small 150s. Riding the number 33, Christchurch's Caleb Gilmore may be the next emerging talent, leading the field out onto Taupo Key. Chased all the way in the early going by the 5 of Justin Maunder and the 24 of Hamish Simpson. With only 15 horsepower on tap, the secret to racing the 150s is carrying speed, and that's what Gilmore was doing. In second place now was the number 5 of Justin Maunder. And in third, Zach Fuller's young sister, Billy. It was status quo as they completed yet another lap here around the cemetery circuit. But all was about to change. Simpson threw it away at the trade zone corner, and that meant that Billy Fuller would move up onto the podium. 33, Caleb Gilmore would take the win in the first Gixxer Cup. And we saw the unusual sight of a single motorcycle alone on the front straight. So this is the start of race number 2 for the Superbikes, brought to you by Reacher Premium European Motorcycle Apparel, and the one to beat is bike number 92, and that is Damon Rees. It's him on the Honda as they head down into turn 1. Just one going a little bit wide there. I think that might have been David Hall. So it is the number 2 that slots into second place, and that is Scott Moy. You're riding here with Damon Rees looking at the back of the 1000cc Honda. There he is, 92 in the front. He won the first one going away. Is he going to be able to repeat the dose here at heat number 2 for the Formula One? The Superbikes here at Whanganui. On board here with the man in second place. This is Taupo's Scott Moyer on the Carl Vandermeer Builders Suzuki New Zealand GSXR 1000. And he gets a little bit closer to Rees as they come out of the trade zone corner. Now we switch back to the rear-facing camera on the 92 as they head towards the Bridgestone Bridge for the first time. Damon Rees in command, 2, Moyer in second place. Can't quite see who's in third. I think it might be the 34 of Daniel Medham from Gleneden in Auckland on the Coleman Suzuki. And then in behind him, it's the 91, and that's Richie Dibbon. On board here with Adam Chambers on the big Kawasaki Superbike once again this year. So he's starting to make his way through the field as he goes down the Sharp As long haul straight. Jaden Carrick, another local here from Whanganui. Oh, we got one into the fence there as they went through the Suzuki crossing. Can't quite see who that was. You might get a repeat of it. And that looks like it's the number 27 that's gone in. As we go back to the head of the race, and if it is the 27, that is David Hall on the PJ Racing Suzuki. There is Daniel Medham, all arms and legs as they go over the Bridgestone Bridge once again. Rees leads it. Second place it is the number 2. Then we go back to the 34, and then it is the Barrack Sports Bar sponsored Suzuki of Richie Dibbon. There he is in the 91. Behind him, Adam Chambers. And then it's Mitch Rees. Now remember, Mitch starting from the rear of the grid, because at Whanganui, your qualifying positions determine your grids in each and every race. And poor old Mitch had a terrible qualifying. They had an ignition problem with the Honda, so he started on the back row. He's slowly but surely cutting his way through the field. Back on board here with Adam Chambers under the trees, heading down the versatile building straight into the Robert Holden turn. They come once again, and he dives down the inside of Richie Dibbon and takes the spot away. So Adam Chambers, originally from Hastings, spent a fair bit of time in Western Australia, but now living back in Hastings, doing a great job on the number 64, the Kawasaki. In behind him, it's the Rees Motorcycles Honda. You're on board here with Jaden Carrick on the Whanganui Toyota Suzuki. Jaden, remember, got the whole shot in the first race, but was penalised 20 seconds for jumping the start, and that took him out of the results. So he'll be riding a little bit angry, I would think. 34, past New Zealand Superbike champion. This is Daniel Medham, and right in behind him, it's the 64, that is Chambers. This is the race leader, though. Scott Moyer getting a little bit closer. Well, he knows all about chasing, and he knows all about winning here. To Scott Moyer, he's a 2-time Suzuki Series champion. On board here with Rees. Out of the Robert Holden turn they come, heading into the trade zone corner now. Moyer gets a little bit closer to the Honda as they work their way through the 90-degree right-hander and out onto the Hooker Transport curves. And they've put a fair bit of distance between themselves and third place, and it's still Daniel Medham from Auckland on the Coleman Suzuki. Then we go back to Chambers, and then it's the 62 of Mitch Rees, and in behind them it would be the Barrack Sports Bar sponsored Suzuki of Richie Dibbon. On board here with Chambers as Mitch Rees slides down the inside through turn number 1 and down the short chute, the Visit Whanganui NZ.com straight. He's got the position. Wheelie there from Chambers as they head down Taupo Key once again. On board here with Chambers, he's fighting desperately to stay in contact with Mitch Rees just ahead of him, and manages to do so as they go under the Emmets Bridge and then heads towards the Robert Holden turn once again. Daniel Medham under a bit of pressure now from the older Rees brother, and that's Mitch. It's young brother Damon out in the front. We're back on board here with Adam Chambers on the Kawasaki, and they close it all up as they come through the trade zone corner. You see the airbags used on the corners, all about safety here at the cemetery circuit. Flea and his team doing an amazing job to transform what is normally city streets into an international quality race circuit, complete with all the safety benefits you could think of. 34, Medham continues to hold on to the spot spot. Right in behind him, it is Mitch Rees, and then it's Adam Chambers on board here with second place. And if anything, Damon Rees looks like he's just starting to get away just a little bit. Under the Emmett Bridge they go once again, diving through the trees, through the shadows, down the Versatile Builders Straight, looking out the back of Rees's bike. As you see, Moyer close up the gaps under braking, so he's the demon late breaker, is the man from Taupo on the Carl Vandermeer Builders Suzuki. You can see for yourself as they head towards the Bridgestone overbridge once again. He'll pick up a little bit of advantage as they come down the TSS Red Baron Straight. Meantime, behind him, Mitch Rees on the move, trying to get around the man from Glen Eden, and that is Daniel Medham, and he might have a run on him here as they head down into turn one. On the outside, it's the Honda of Mitch Rees. Inside, it's the 34 of Daniel Medham. But I tell you what, you don't outbrake Daniel Medham too often. He is the last of the late breakers. He was notorious for it when he was the 600 Sports Production rider, and he was even more so when he was the New Zealand Superbike champion. 92, Damon Rees leads at 2, Moyer in second. Moyer again trying to get a little bit closer. You see the G-forces as they lean over the front of the machine under the heavy braking. That's why you've got to have arms like a gorilla and good core muscles and shoulder muscles as well. You're on board here with Scott Moyer. Got his start in motorcycling and motocross way back when, and I think that's where he gets his aggression from. Ridden in all sorts of different classes. Checkered flag comes out. Damon Rees makes it 2 for 2 at Whanganui, following in his famous father's footstep. Are we going to see a dominant performance from the younger Rees? He's been in the British Superbike Championships in the New Zealand off-season, but he's back home now.
Yeah, I could hear him the whole race, and I just knew that if I just kept pushing to my maximum that whole race, he couldn't quite get close enough to make a move in that one. So he definitely made a big step from the first race to that one, but yeah, I think it was still quite a comfortable win.
So a quick look at the results in the Rich Formula One shows you that Damon Rees gets the win, makes it 2 for 2 from Scott Moyer, Daniel Medham, Mitch Rees and Adam Chambers. There is plenty more action to come. Supermoto and the Robert Holden Memorial are on the way. Welcome back to the Cemetery Circuit. Third and final round of the Suzuki Series in the action, as well as the temperature hotting up here at Whanganui. There is number 63, that's Jetty Josiah. He's the points leader in the Supermoto, brought to you by Amerex. Watch 2 for the 931, that's John O'Hamlin. He won the first race on the yellow Suzuki, but it's Josiah on the Yamaha, the Bike Talk Yamaha, that goes into the front early on. Looks like Hamlin coming through in second place on the Suzuki. This is sort of a repeat of what we saw in the first heat, but after a while it was Hamlin that came through, flirting with the hay bales there. I think that might have been Craig Scott. You're on board with him now, the man they call Cudge. It's been up since around about, hasn't gone to bed, probably didn't get to bed at all till about 7 this morning, because he was building the racetrack here, and he's been doing that for years and years and years, has Craig Cudge Scott. He's on the Honda CRF 450. Leader, though, is on the Yamaha YZ450. It's the Suzuki in second, so 3 of the major Japanese brands represented at the front of this one. Amerex bring it to you and have been big-time supporters of Supermoto for a long, long time. 1 lap in the books, and it is Josiah. Now, he could play the long game here. He had a good points lead coming into this, the third and final round of Whanganui. Didn't need to reinvent the wheel, doesn't need to risk life and limb. All he needs to do is pick up points. But I think he's a racer, and he'd love to win this. Ben Dowman just coming out of the corner into the Taupo Key as well, as this big field of Supermotos head up through the Versatile Homes Straight and into the Robert Holden turn. Here's the move coming from John O'Hamlin, and he made it look easy, didn't he? Just round the outside, shadowed Josiah as they came through the right-hander and into the trade zone turn. We've got a new race leader, and it is the Suzuki of John O'Hamlin, the Dibben Swartz sponsored machine. 714, this is Ben Dowman. He's another local Whanganui boy on the Honda machine. Or man, really, he's not a boy any longer. So back on board here with Cudge, Craig Scott, heading down the TSS Red Baron straight, the front straight here at Whanganui. And down the inside of him comes another one of the quick Suzukis, and that's Roger Bland, I think. Just moving up a spot. So they're inside the top 10 now as they head down onto the Sharp-As long haul straight. Meantime, the race leader out of the Suzuki crossing up through the S as he goes. This is John O'Hamlin on the RM450. Essentially, for people that are new to Supermoto competition, these are motocross bikes. They have the suspension shortened. They put smaller wheels on them. They put obviously slick road racing tyres on them. But apart from that, a lot of these bikes do double duty in the motocross season. They put the knobbly tyres back on, get the suspension out to the full travel, and they race them on the dirt as well. And both these guys very accomplished on the dirt as well as the seal. John O'Hanlon leads it, Jetty Josiah through in second place. Then it's the veteran, that's Mitch Rowe on the Husky. Then behind him it's Ben Dowman. And then we go back to 10, and number 10 is James Clark. And Clark is on the Aramac sponsored Honda CRF 450. You're riding with him here. Had a great first 2 rounds of the series, did James. Currently was third in the points going into this one, the third and final round. Oh, somebody taken to the grass, and I think that might have been the Suzuki. No, it wasn't. In fact, it was Ben Dowman, and that's allowed James Clark to get up ahead of him. So a fortuitous change of position there for Clark. He's gone up ahead of the 714 of Dowman, and Dowman taking to the grass through the Suzuki crossing and living to tell the tale. So that's a good bit of machine control for Dowman. Meantime, they're starting to get a little bit closer to 007, and that is Mitch Rowe out of Taranaki, one of the veterans. Just picked up another veterans motocross title just a couple of months ago. Mitch, one of the first true professional motocrossers on the New Zealand scene, many moons ago now. Clark and Dowman arguing about the spot. Dowman getting a little bit closer, and they're all getting a little bit closer to 007, and that is Mitch Rowe. 822 in the fight as well, and that is Roger Bland. So the next one after that should be the 62 of Craig Scott. Big wheelie there from James Clark as he heads down towards the Robert Holden turn once again. And down the inside of Clark comes Dowman, so he pays him back for that slight indiscretion as he came through the crossing. That's where Clark got ahead of Ben Dowman. These guys are locals, they race each other all the time. Oh, and has Dowman got a machine problem just looking down at the Honda? Still going race pace though, nothing James Clark can do about it. Back on board here with Clark, they go down the TSS Red Baron straight. Here comes the big charge from the Aramac sponsored rider, but he can't get down the inside of Ben Dowman. Dowman shuts the door as they go down the short chute. 822 in there as well. And as we told you before, that is Roger Bland. He's just tagged onto the back of this bunch. Dowman and Clark battling away, and that's allowed the 007 of Mitch Rowe to get away just a little bit. So Mitch Rowe sitting pretty comfortably in third spot at the moment. All the action, 4th, 5th and 6th. Brant just drifting off the pace as they head down into the Robert Holden Memorial once again. Dowman leading his good friend James Clark through the right-hander as you're on board here with Craig Cud Scott, and that is John Oliver just gone up the inside of him through Robert Holden. So he's come from a way back. It's been a pretty good ride for him. In fact, he was the one I think tangled in the hay bales in the first lap, so it's been a bit of a race of redemption for John Oliver. Meantime, we focus in on this battle. 3rd, 4th, 5th and 6th on your screen. And too close to call at the moment. Anything can happen. You see that these bikes aren't quite as stable as we saw from the purpose-built road racing machines, but they're a whole lot of fun to ride. There's no doubt about that. And that upright style and throw it in cornering skills really does get the crowd excited. There is Brant just tugging onto the back of this bunch. 007, Mitch Rowe leads them around. He's currently sitting in 3rd place. Right in behind him, it's Ben Dowman. Then we go back to James Clark, and then we go back to the 822 of Roger Bland, and he's on the Dibben Schwartz Suzuki. Back on board here with James Clark. There's Ben Dowman just up ahead of him, Mitch Rowe just ahead of them. Meantime, out in the front, it's still John O'Hanlon and Jetty Josiah. They're having their own little battles, probably a quarter of a lap up the track. Just got a glimpse of one of them as they headed down into turn number 1. Down the TSS Red Baron straight they come once again. James Clark giving us the best pictures in the house from the onboard camera. Very sideways on the brakes that time was Ben Dowman. That back-it-in style that we've been so used to seeing Richie Dibben do here on the cemetery circuit. Richie, of course, ruled the roost in the Supermotos for years and years and years, but the last 2, he's thrown in his lot with road racing. He is the current 600 Sports Production Champion of New Zealand, but you'll see him out in the Superbikes here today at Whanganui. Here is James Clark, another one that's been around the Supermoto scene for a long, long time. His dad, part of the Aramacs Delivery Unlimited family. Checkered flag comes out as we go back to the front of the field, and John O'Hanlon makes it 2 for 2 in the Aramacs Supermotos. Jetty Josiah, maybe he was just collecting points in this one. He'll do enough to win the championship. In third place, it should be the veteran, and that is Taranaki's Mitch Rowe. And in behind him, it's the first of the lads from Whanganui, and that is Ben Dowman. And that's the way the judges saw it as well. John O'Hamlin from Jetty Josiah, Mitch Rowe, Ben Dowman, and James Clark, the top 5 in the Supermotos. So if you have a look at the overall class results, you can read them for yourself. Mitch Rees wins Formula 1. Formula 2 is Rogan Chandler. In Formula 3, it's Richard Markham Barrett. Then Darren Bendel in the Junior Bears, Dwayne Bishop in Seniors. Supermoto goes to Jetty Josiah. Steve Bridge wins the Pre-89 Post-Classic Juniors. Jean-Louis gets the Seniors. Formula 1 sidecars, Barry Smith and Stu Dorr. Formula 2, it's Mark Halls and Michelle McLean. This is the big one. This is the one that the big crowd has been waiting for. This is the Robert Holden Memorial. Brought to you by Whanganui Auto Wreckers and Machinery Transporters, Heavy Towing of Whanganui. This is the big one. Everyone wants to win the Robert Holden. Some say this is more prestigious than a national title. Don't know if I'd go quite that far, but this teams up the best lap times from all the classes of racing up against each other for 10 laps. Just watching there, Mark Perry, as we get set to go, and away they go once again. And the firm favourite would have to be Damon Rees, and it is Damon Rees that leads them into the first turn, and it's his brother right alongside him. And in fact, it's going to be Mitch that's going to lead them out onto the Sharp-As long haul straight for the first of 10 times. Damon Rees right there. And what about the start there from Jaden Carrick on the Whanganui Toyota? Whanganui Drilling Suzuki, number 55, right in it as well, as it is Mitch Rees that leads them through the head cemetery up towards the Robert Holden Memorial for the first time. 62 in the front, then it's 55, then it is 92. Then we go back to the 34 by the look of it of Daniel Metham on the Suzuki. He's right up there as well. Then Adam Chambers on the big Kawasaki there, and the best of the 600s. I know it's early on, but it'll be the youngster, and that's Zach Fuller on the Rees Motorcycles CBR 600. We got one down as they came over the Bridgestone Bridge. And luckily the air fence has done its job, but the officials have done theirs as well. And the red flag comes out, and the race is stopped. So here it is in slow motion, just watching the Bridgestone signs. And as I said, the air fence doing its job and capturing rider and machine. Here it is from a different angle. This is from our camera 1 position, and it's quite high speed as they come over that Bridgestone overbridge. Slightly different angle here, looking from the back of Adam Chambers' bike, I think it is. So here we go on the restart. Watch again for number 62. That is Mitch Rees, and watch for his younger brother, Damon. That's Damon in the 92. Damon's been unbeaten in the F1 Superbikes all afternoon here at Whanganui, but once again, it is the 62 he's got for company, but it's Damon Rees that goes into the front as they head down onto the Sharp-As long haul straight. Now, for the last 2 years, the Robert Holden has been won by offshore riders. Last year, it was Richard Cooper, Supersport champion from the British Superbikes, and the year before that, Isle of Man hero Peter Hickman picked the pocket of Scott Moyer. This time, no overseas competitors because of the COVID-19 worldwide pandemic. But boy, we've seen some fantastic racing, and I'm sure we're going to see even more here this time around. It looked like the 27 of David Hall just got a little bit wrong coming out of the Trade Zone Robert Holden turn as they head down towards the Bridgestone overbridge. Whanganui Auto Wreckers and Whanganui Heavy Towing bring it to you. It's the Robert Holden Memorial. Sadly, we lost Robert Holden in 1996 in a practice crash at the Isle of Man as we close in here on the back of Daniel Metham's Suzuki as he comes out of turn number 2, the Mars Pet Care turn, and down the Sharp-As long haul straight. 92 though, the race leader. This is Damon Rees. You're on board here with Richie Dibbon. He didn't get a very good start, and he's trying to get around a couple. I think that's Ray Clee just up ahead of him, the veteran from Kumeu, as they work their way through the head cemetery, where the cemetery gets, the cemetery circuit I should say, gets its name, into the Robert Holden turn. Out along the Trade Zone short straight and into the hooker curves comes the race leader. Over the Bridgestone Bridge we go. You're on board here with the man that's the dominant force in the F1s. Oh, we've got one that's expired by the look of it. A trail of smoke, and that's mechanical. I just hope there's no oil being spilled on the Bridgestone overbridge. No doubt the officials will be having a good look at that. Lap 3 of 10 as they streak down into the Gilmore Homes first turn. And this is Seth Devereaux. It's just going to pull over and park it by the start line. We zoom on here on past New Zealand Superbike champion. That is Daniel Metham, taking the rear view of the Metham bike from Adam Chambers' Kawasaki. These superbikes hardly get out of second gear around this 1.6 kilometre circuit, just over a mile in the old language. It's essentially an elongated square. As they rocket through the hooker transport curves and head up towards the Bridgestone Bridge once again. There is Metham, there is Chambers. And in behind them, this is Zach Fuller's view, and he'd be the best of the 600s. That's him. You can pick the 600 machines by the yellow number plates. And we're looking for number 80, and there he is. Now, Zach's doing a fantastic job here. He got his first win in the 600s, but he has put a couple of the more than a couple of the superbike riders to the sword here in the Robert Holden Memorial. Through the crossing they go. You're right here with Zach Fuller. Remember that name. He's a star of the future. There's no doubt about it. Came from the Gixxer Cup, then went into the Pro Twins class. Now here he is with Team Rees on the 600, and he'd be the fastest of the 600s. Back on board here with Chambers. That is as close as you want to get to Daniel Metham. My God, how wasn't there a touch there? That was so close. Chambers left the braking way late as they came through the trade zone corner. Now he's going to set up Metham for a pass down the inside as they head down into the Gilmore Holmes corner, and I think Metham's going to let him go. The shadow there is that of Adam Chambers, and Chambers goes into the front of Metham, and Metham comes straight back at him, but thinks better of it as he banks into that reshaped turn heading out onto the Sharp As Long Haul Straight, and that is the Mars Pet Care Turn 2 as we trace the path of Metham from the number 80 bike of Zach Fuller. And Zach Fuller will really up into just outside the top 5 at the moment. So this is a giant killing performance from the young man, the ex-motocrosser from Taupri. You're on board with them here. Ahead of them, it's Adam Chambers and Daniel Metham. At the front of the field, it is still Damon Reeves and his brother Mitch. There they are. Across the stripe they go, virtually together. Well, Tony Rees has won the Robert Holden Memorial 7 times. And I know that both Mitch and Damon would love to add that title to their CVs or their resumes. And who's to say they're not going to do it? At the moment, it is young Damon out in the front. Been riding in our off-season up in the British Superbike support program up there, going back, COVID-19 willing, at the end of the New Zealand season. Mitch Rees right in behind him. Mitch on the 62, Damon on the 92, Mitch on the brand new Honda, that's the 2021 version. Damon on the slightly older version. He's been racing BMWs up in the UK, but he said it didn't take much to adapt back to the Honda. It's like putting on a favourite suit. 92, Damon Rees gets a little bit sideways under braking for turn 1 here at Whanganui. We go back to the battle here for 7th and 8th. You're riding with Richie Dibbon on the Barrick Sports Bar Suzuki. Just up ahead of him is the 27, another Suzuki, and that is David Hall. David having his first season on the big superbike machines. There he is as they work their way through the Gilmore Holmes turn. Richie, as we told you before, an absolute standout on supermoto machines. The current 600 Super Sport champion of New Zealand in this COVID-19 shortened season from NZSBK last year. And really starting to monster David Hall as they work their way through the Suzuki crossing and up through the trees on the versatile building straight into the Robert Holden. And Dibbon looks like he goes down the inside of Hall to take the position. So I think Richie Dibbon might move up into 6th place. Meantime, at the top of the end of the street, we've got the 92 getting real pressure from his older brother, and that is Damon Rees holding out his brother Mitch. And I can tell you that they're both flirting with the track record, and that is 48 seconds and change. Well, everyone said to me when we got here today at Whanganui that that record would be under threat from the slight configuration of the track changes and also from the resurfaced area around this 1.6 kilometre track. And we've seen that in the previous races, and I think we're going to see it here in the Robert Holden Memorial as well. On board here with Zach Fuller as he is looking long and hard at the back of the 1000cc Suzuki of Daniel Metham. That's Adam Chambers just in front of him. So these guys' positions have been static over the last couple of laps. They can't drop each other. If anything, Zach Fuller's getting closer to them. Once again, just getting a little bit untidy under brakes is the 92 of Damon Rees. If you ask yourself the question, how hard are they trying? They're trying hard, make no mistake about it. As I told you, their father, Tony, ruled the roost, multiple New Zealand road racing champion and 7 times the winner of the Robert Holden Memorial. It would mean so much to any of the Rees, be it older brother Mitch or young brother Damon, to win this title. Adam Chambers still towing around Daniel Metum. Right in behind them, the best of the 600s, and that is Zach Fuller. Zach Fuller hasn't put a wheel wrong all weekend. Picked up his first win in the 600s, has done nothing wrong on the Rees Motorcycle 600, and easily the fastest 600 here in the Robert Holden Memorial. White flag out, 1 to go. It's going to be a Rees because there's nothing but clear track behind them, but who's it going to be? Has Mitch got something for his younger brother into the Gilmore Holmes turn for the last time? We go back to this enthralling battle. Oh, Daniel Metum nearly throws it away at probably the second fastest part of the racetrack. He manages to stay in the seat and stay composed, and Zach Fuller can't get around him. 64, Adam Chambers sits in 4th. Then it's Metum in 5th, Fuller in 6th. This battle within a battle going on here. Love to know what's going on at the front of the field, though. Is it going to be the 92? Is it going to be the 62? Rees on Rees at the top of the field as we track Zach Fuller's progress as he heads up towards the Robert Holden turn once more. Here are the leaders. Out of the trade zone corner they come. Whanganui Auto Wreckers. Whanganui Heavy Hauling bring it to you. It's the Robert Holden Memorial, and it's going to be a Rees 1-2, and it's going to be young Damon gets the win. He makes the clean sweep here at Whanganui. He wins both the F1 bike races and he wins the Robert Holden as well. Zach Fuller's going to give it everything right through to the end, but he's going to have to be content with 6th place because Adam Chambers it's going to come through in 4th. In 3rd place it was Jaden Carrick on the Suzuki, but what a finish for Damon and Mitch Rees.
It's been a special day, and even better when my brother gets to race me in the last one, and he definitely kept me on my toes. And obviously Zach's ridden phenomenal this week today, and he certainly deserves to be second in the series in F2. And yeah, I mean, it's a proud moment for me and my family. It's something I wanted to do, and I've wanted to do for a long time, is put my name on that Robert Holden trophy, and this means so much to me. So yeah, I'm over the moon. It's just, yeah, almost lost words now.
Well, for the last 2 years, that trophy went offshore, but this year it will definitely stay in New Zealand in the hands of Damon Rees. His dad, a 7-time winner, Damon Rees, claims the Robert Holden Memorial. Have a look at the congratulations here in Team Rees for both brothers, Mitch and Damo. And of course Vicky and Tony in there as well. And Zach Fuller, what a find this young kid is. In fact, he won the Ray Whittam Trophy for that most outstanding rider of the series. So congratulations to young Zach. But what a day for Rees motorcycling. What a day for motorcycling in general. All these guys get a good tune-up as they head to the NZSBK. But the Suzuki Series is alive and well in these COVID-19 troubled times. Hope you've enjoyed watching it. We'll make sure we're back again next year.